Good evening, everybody. I would like to call to order this meeting of the Wyoming City Council.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is being live streamed on the city's YouTube channel, accessible from the city's website. If you would like to address City Council, please come up to the microphone to speak. The audio will not pick up if you do not speak into the microphone for those watching from YouTube. There are 14 items on the consent agenda. They are approval of the December 1st, 2023 special City Council meeting minutes, a resolution declaring intent to conduct internet auctions for the sale of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit city personal property for the year 2024. Ratify the appointment of Chris Woodside to the Board of Zoning Appeals, April Robles to the Environmental Stewardship Commission, Dan Driehaus to the Planning Commission, and Melissa Monick and April Robles to the Volunteer Firefighters Dependents Fund. A resolution designating the city manager to attend public records training on behalf of all members of City Council for the 2023 through 2025 term of office. A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with R.A. Miller Construction Company, Incorporated for the Oliver Road Improvements Project. A resolution honoring the services of Tim Kavanaugh, serving on the Community Improvement Corporation. A resolution honoring the services of Chris Babb, serving on the Environmental Stewardship Commission. A resolution honoring the services of Rachel Kennedy, serving on the Historic Preservation Commission. Resolution honoring the services of Chris Sams, serving on the Promote Wyoming Commission. A resolution honoring the service of Deb Stonehill, serving on the Promote Wyoming Commission. A resolution honoring the services of Andrea Betts, serving on the Urban Forestry and Beautification Commission. A resolution honoring the services of Sue Lewis, serving on the Promote Wyoming Commission. And a resolution honoring the services of Sean Creighton, serving on the Urban Forestry and Beautification Commission. The city manager's annual DE&I progress report. So do I hear a motion with respect to the consent agenda?
I'd like to put a motion forward to accept the consent agenda, approve the consent agenda as proposed, as read.
Second.
Having been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda items, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed? The motion carries. And so I'd like to invite Sean Creighton up so that we can actually Is it on? Yes, okay. All right. Bring the services of Sean Creighton on the Urban Forestry and Beautification Commission of the City of Wyoming, Ohio. Whereas Sean Creighton has served the people of the City of Wyoming as a member of Urban Forestry and Beautification Commission since May 2017, and in doing so has promoted the enrichment and adornment of common areas and public gathering spaces in the community, and worked arduously to protect and preserve the arboreal legacy provided to this generation by generations past. And whereas the quality of life and property values in our city are enhanced by the efforts of all within the community to upgrade and beautify their property and to maintain the urban canopy. And whereas Sean recognizes the trees that make Wyoming special and outstanding examples of exterior appearance and landscaping which grace our neighborhoods and promote the enhancement of all public spaces and green areas in the city. And whereas Sean has graciously given talent and expertise in this volunteer service to the community and can be proud of the foundation that has been laid so that when others drive down the streets of Wyoming, they can enjoy the beautification efforts and the urban canopy. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the City of Wyoming, on behalf of the people of the city, wish to thank Sean Creighton for serving the people of the City of Wyoming. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread upon the minutes of the Council of the City of Wyoming and be presented to Sean as but a small token of our continuing appreciation and esteem. Passed unanimously in the City Council chambers of the City of Wyoming, Ohio, this 18th day of December, 2023. Thank you. Congratulations. All right, are there any questions or comments on the special reports? Then we'll now hear a report from the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. The city's holiday celebration and first annual tree lighting ceremony at the new and improved Village Green was a huge success. So if you had the opportunity to come out that night, it was a little rainy, but it was amazing how many people actually came to the event and really had a good time. I got to see our first light up ceremony for the tree, and then Santa made an appearance and was there for 2 hours. So there was quite the line to see Santa. And I just want to let everybody know that we are planning a very large grand opening celebration for the spring. So look for information and dates coming sometime soon for that. It's hard to talk about this because it's not Christmas yet, but Christmas trees will be picked up curbside for recycling by the Public Works Department from January 3rd to the 15th. Do not place your bag in your tree in a bag. Make sure all the lights and ornaments are off and the tinsel's been removed. The city will be hosting a wellness fair at the Civic Center on January 13th from 10 to 3. There will be vendors who will focus on wellness as a whole. And so if you're looking at learning more about nutrition, mental health, fitness routines, and more areas of wellness, that event is for you. So check that out. Again, it's January 13th at the Civic Center. The winter yard waste pickup program is in effect. If you have yard waste to put out on Monday, you must call Rumpke to schedule a pickup. The city is accepting applications. You heard all of the wonderful people that are stepping aside from our different boards and commissions. So we now have vacancies. So you can go onto our website, wyomingohio.gov, to find more information, but we have vacancies on the Environmental Stewardship Commission, the Historical Preservation Commission, the Urban Forestry and Beautification Commission. So if you go on the website, you can check out more information on that. We are accepting applications for a part-time water treatment plant operator. All the information and employment application can be found on our website. And lastly, the city offices will be closed on Monday, December 25th and Tuesday, December 26th, as well as January 1st and January 2nd. And the Recreation Center will be closed on December 24th, December 25th, December 31st, and January 1st. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you very much. So are there any council committee reports not otherwise on the agenda? Are there any special committee reports not otherwise on the agenda? Okay. Then we've reached the point in our meeting where a citizen may express an opinion, make a statement, address a concern, or ask a question on any subject that is not otherwise on the agenda. Comments will be recorded into the minutes and passed along to be addressed by the appropriate staff or city council committee as needed. This portion of the meeting is not for city council to provide responses to a citizen comment, but to hear what the citizen has to say. And if you wish a response from the city to your concern or request for information, please be sure to leave your contact information with the clerk before you leave the meeting. The city manager or a member of staff will contact you regarding your request. And as a reminder, please, is there anyone present that would like to bring an item not otherwise on the agenda before City Council? Mr. Burns?
Thank you. My name is Bob Burns, I live at 1202 Morts Pass. I want to congratulate all of you on your successful reelection, and Cindy, to you on your successful election to City Council. The subject I want to address is basically anti-Semitism. I have not heard or seen anti-Semitism displayed within the city of Wyoming, but that doesn't mean it hasn't occurred. I just haven't been witness to it. But I thought it would be good, due to the current events in Israel and the reactions that we've seen on college campuses and the recently completed celebration of Hanukkah, that we are reminded of God's promises to the whole world through the Jewish people. In Genesis 12, verses 1 to 3, we read God's call to Abraham. God tells Abraham that because of his commitment and obedience, the whole world will be blessed through his descendants. That has occurred primarily in Jesus of Nazareth, a Jewish descendant of Abraham, and whose birth we celebrate this month, but also through other contributions of Abraham's descendants through his son Isaac, typically referred to as Jews. One measure of that blessing to the world is that the percent of Nobel Prizes awarded to Jewish people is 100 times as high as the percentage of the world's population that are Jewish. Hanukkah, or the Feast of Dedication, celebrating the rededication of the Jewish temple in Jerusalem in 139 BC, after the temple having been desecrated by the Greeks, is not an Old Testament feast, since it occurred during the 400-year gap between the Old and New Testaments. And in chapter 12 of the book of John in the New Testament, we see a reference to it during the ministry of Jesus. For those of you who may not be familiar with Hanukkah, a candle is lit for each day of the 8-day celebration, which commemorates the 8 days that 1 day's worth of oil continued to burn in the menorah, in the temple, until more suitable oil could be produced. It was during this celebration of the temple in Jerusalem that John the Apostle records Jesus having proclaimed himself as the light of the world. And not only that, Jesus calls us who follow him lights of the world also. So I want to encourage all of you to be lights to our city of Wyoming by following the brightest light of all, Jesus. May you all have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. So are there any other people who would like to bring anything in front of council? Okay. The first order of business is the first reading of the ordinance to amend Chapter 181 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Wyoming regarding municipal income tax and declaring an emergency. It is recommended that the rules be suspended and the ordinance be considered for adoption tonight. Do I hear a motion to suspend the rules?
I move to suspend the rules.
Second?
Is there any discussion? Okay, so having been moved and seconded to suspend the rules, it takes an affirmative vote of 5 for passage. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Middle. There you go. Approve. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the motion carries. So we'll now need a motion to adopt the ordinance tonight. Do I hear a motion with respect to the ordinance?
I move to adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, having been moved and seconded to adopt the ordinance, it takes an affirmative vote of 5 for passage. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
Yes, the motion carries. So the next item is, this is the first reading of the ordinance amending ordinance number 18-2022 as amended by ordinance number 01-2023, 02-2023, and 11-2023 in its entirety, and fixing the salaries and compensation of all offices and positions in the city service and declaring an emergency. It's recommended that the rules be suspended and the ordinance be considered for adoption tonight. Do I hear a motion to suspend the rules?
I move to suspend the rules. Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Would the clerk please call the roll?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the motion carries. So we will now need a motion to adopt the ordinance tonight. Do I hear a motion with respect to the ordinance?
I move to adopt the ordinance. Second.
Any discussion? Okay, having been moved and seconded to adopt the ordinance, it takes an affirmative vote of 5 for passage. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, the motion carries. Next item is, this is the first reading of the ordinance appropriating revenues within certain funds, transferring revenues from certain funds, and transferring certain funds within designated accounts. It is recommended that the rules be suspended and the ordinance be considered for adoption tonight. Do I hear a motion to suspend the rules?
I move to suspend the rules. Second.
Is there any discussion? Having been moved and seconded to suspend the rules, it takes an affirmative vote of 5 for passage. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the motion carries. So you will now need a motion to adopt the ordinance tonight. Do I hear a motion with respect to the ordinance?
Before we do, I just want to make sure we have the title correct on it.
Mhm.
It's different on the agenda.
Okay,
On the agenda, it's the ordinance authorizing the transfer of certain funds from designated accounts and appropriating additional revenues. So I think that's the title on the ordinance. Right, Karen?
it's in here.
Let me grab it.
We have a copy in here, Karen. Yeah.
I just want to make sure we have the title right. Okay, I think, yes, the way you read it was correct.
Yeah, we're good.
It's just
Okay.
different on the agenda.
Okay, thank you for checking.
Mhm, Yep.
All right, where were we? Any
We want a
discussion?
motion to, yeah, to approve, to adopt.
Yeah. So can I have a motion to adopt?
I make a motion to adopt the ordinance.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. Having been moved and seconded to suspend adopt, sorry. Having been moved and seconded to adopt the ordinance, would the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, the motion carries. Next, this is the first reading of the ordinance making appropriations for the expenses of the City of Wyoming, Ohio for 2024. It is recommended that the rules be suspended and the ordinance be considered for adoption tonight.
I move to suspend the rules. Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, having been moved and seconded to suspend the rules, it takes an affirmative vote of 5 for passage. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the motion carries. We will now need a motion to adopt the ordinance tonight. Do I hear a motion with respect to the ordinance?
I move to adopt. Second.
Any discussion? Would the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, the motion carries. Does anyone have any new business not otherwise on the agenda?
I do.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion for the City of Wyoming to provide a letter of concern to Judge Bloom and the Hamilton County Juvenile Court regarding the request of proposals for the Hillcrest Training School.
Do I hear any discussion on this?
I wanted to bring this up because I think there are a number of questions that I have regarding the request of proposal. And I know I originally saw this on the news and dug into it a little bit more. And I think just the way that some of the things that are cited in the request for proposal includes a number, like an increase in number of juveniles at the facility, and also includes a bracket of juveniles that are serious offenders. And, you know, not knowing exactly what serious offenders means in that category, and kind of knowing that, you know, it could be serious offenders that, like under my definition, might be, you know, sexual offenders, it could be murder, I don't know. But like, I think that that part needs to be considered on top of some of the security issues and how will they secure the property, and knowing that Vermont School is within less than a mile of this facility. And I know just personally, when I look at a map, I'm less than a mile as well from this facility. And, you know, February 9th of 2023 this year, I had personally had issues that happened where a juvenile had escaped from Hillcrest, and it certainly disrupted our neighborhood. And you know, I wasn't present at my home at the time, but receiving a phone call from my children that a pursuit was engaged with the juvenile in question and going through our yards in a chase from a police department from Wyoming, as well as wood security in itself, I think is something that we as Wyoming citizens and residents need to be cognizant about, but also just taxing on our own police enforcement, and as well as the neighboring jurisdictions. So that's the reason that I wanted to bring.
I wanted to make a comment too about this and go on the record about it. So first, when it comes to JFS and our Hamilton County prosecutors, and Moira Weir previously, and Judge Powers now, Carrie Bloom now, juvenile court judge, they've had a history of concern and care for reintroducing citizens, juveniles, back into society. And the preceding operator was privately contracted. The juveniles that were there, housed there, were not only Hamilton County, but were brought in from other areas of the state. There are very few facilities in the state like this. It's a beautiful setting. It's a campus setting, and it's admirable that some of these public officials want to utilize this space for the benefit of juveniles in our county. However, and a big however, is the fact that this was privately contracted, and the way the wording in the second last paragraph, nothing about the RFP indicates that the court has elevated the security protocols or expectations for the facility. And fundamentally, I think we should be steadfastly against this in Wyoming, because fundamentally, security trumps all. And unless there are security protocols put in there, I think it would be a poor endeavor to go down this track without being very explicit in the RFPs about the elevation of security concerns, not just for Wyoming, but for Woodlawn, Springfield Township. And I'm a little bit just surprised and dismayed by the manner in which the RFP was released. So I support this 100%.